Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Joe and Joe Weather Show on this Wednesday night, the 13th of October 2021. And of course, the Joe and Joe Weather Show is brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. Lowest prices around in the tri-state area when it comes to anything you need winter weather-wise, and that includes tons of rock salt. A lot of you snow removal boys and girls get your rock salt from Omni. That's a good thing because they do have the lowest prices in the tri-state area. Plenty of Pelleto, plenty of mag ice pellets and flakes, and anything else you need to get you through the winter. 631-756-1125 is the phone number, and the website omnitruevalue.com. And along with the approach of winter is the approach of the holiday season. And the Joe and Joe Weather Show also brought to you by Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini, your complete holiday lighting specialist, meaning all your decorating needs. And in spite of all the supply chain holdups everywhere, they've got plenty of Christmas decorations, wreaths, garland, Christmas trees that light up. And of course, if this is what you want, to have your home decorated professionally for the holidays, or maybe, just maybe, you want to do this as a business, or maybe it is your business, give Wholesale Holiday Lighting a call. They're at 162 Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst, New York, also on Long Island. The phone number is 631-957-5106, and the website is liholidaylighting.com. Well, Mr. Rayo is here in his Seinfeld Costanza shirt, which is, oh, by the way, before I forget, so last night I was fiddling around with the television, and I rarely watch Family Guy. I don't know if you watch Family Guy or have watched Family Guy.
Occasionally.
All right.
Occasionally.
Well, there was this episode, I think it was where the Lois runs for mayor, and they're going to the lake for a vacation, and they somehow segued. I forgot what the connection was, but they segued into the Price is Right yodeler going up the going up the mountain. So that gave me a very good laugh. I don't know if you saw the space launch this morning with Mr. Shatner, with William Shatner on board. He seemed, looking at some of the stuff afterwards, and him talking with Bezos. I mean, he really seemed very, very impressed by everything that he went through today. I can't imagine what that would be like, though, especially because here he played a part in a sci-fi show about space, and now here he is at 90 years old, and he actually got to do it, which must be amazing.
Pretty interesting. I unfortunately did not see the live coverage. I was not too well today, Joe.
Fact, I'm sorry to hear that.
I mean, I did get a brief view on YouTube this afternoon. I said, "Oh, I totally forgot about the launch." But actually, it's like it was no different than, let's say, Alan Shepard's suborbital flight. It was only 10 minutes, 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I mean, he reached up, touched space, what is considered to be the boundary of outer space, and then no sooner did he do that, but down he went again. So I hope he enjoyed it. I hope he got his money's worth, but he went for free. I hear that people who were on board that flight, a couple of them had to pay up to $250,000 for that 10-minute vault into space. So,
well, they got a ton.
Anyway,
well, listen, they got a ton of publicity out of this, because I'm thinking we're at the point now where they might not have covered it from start to finish this time around, were it not maybe for Shatner being on the air. So they being on the rocket with it. So they got he may have gone up for free, but they got their money's worth of publicity out of this. And I'm not
you're
saying that's a
probably
bad thing, by the way. That's just how the game's played.
no, but you are probably right. I doubt very much. Now the question is, maybe somebody on the chat board can answer this. I know that probably CNN and Fox News and MSNBC carry the launch, but did any of the networks, CBS, NBC, ABC, did they break into their morning programming to
You mean
show you this?
did they break into Let's Make a Deal? Did they did
Yeah.
they break into The Price is Right? I watched it on CNBC, which had
Okay.
great coverage of it, by the way.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, if ABC, NBC, and CBS actually interrupted their coverage of whatever game show or soap opera, or I think ABC and NBC have the Today Show or Good Morning America still on, and that right there probably tells me at least NBC and ABC probably covered it live too. But you're right. With Shatner on board, it made it an event that was worth breaking into and worth televising for even the regular broadcast channels.
Yep. Paul Roman hitting super chat early, getting biscuits for JJ. He says, "Thank you, Paul. Most appreciated." Says he appreciates us. We appreciate you, and we appreciate everybody that's on the chat board tonight. So welcome aboard after a little bit of an odd day off yesterday. It's our still kind of stuck. Weather-wise today, Joe, looked like somebody put a fingerprint of clouds over eastern Pennsylvania to about southern New England, and that little fingerprint that was looking at the loop, pretty much hung around the whole day.
Yeah, I even said, to Renata, I said, my God, I mean, I had things to do. I wanted to do. Well, first of all, I didn't get a chance to do them again. I wasn't feeling my best today, but I said, what happened? I mean, yesterday, beautiful blue sky and sunshine and mild, if not downright warm weather. And today, I like that analogy, this fingerprint, or if you will, this thumbprint of mid to low hanging clouds. And guess what? Just after the sun set this evening, the clouds started to break, and I saw the half moon in the sky. I said, "Yeah, now you decide to break up.
Right.
Now you decide to dissipate."
Well,
right?
that's you look at the loop. I got it up. I mean, it really does look like just a thumbprint. When I was looking at the satellites this morning, it had cleared out southeastern New England back to almost western Connecticut. Actually, a good chunk of Long Island started out mostly sunny today. And that thumbprint just kind of sat there, and then now it's thinned out a bit, and we'll probably get rid of it finally once and for all. We had here in North Georgia, we had the typical morning low clouds in the mountains, which after about 9 o'clock or so, the sun gets high enough in the sky, and it's a very, very thin deck, because the minute the sun comes over the mountains, you could see everything just brightens up, and usually within about an hour, it all burns off, and it becomes it became a nice, mostly sunny day. Got into the 70s. Humidity is low. Everything is fine and dandy here. And I'm thinking, Joe, the next couple of days, probably we'll see warm ups tomorrow. Assuming it's no worse than partly sunny, and I'm thinking maybe nothing gets in the way. 70s to near 80 tomorrow in some places, and Friday, I think a lot of spots away from the coast will probably get up into the low 80s.
A couple of people were asking, what caused this, and and this, by the way, is typical. This is something you see a lot of in especially the month of October. A low level deck of moisture, which remained trapped under an inversion. In other words, if you were able to, get in a balloon, let's say, and go up, normally as you get higher into the atmosphere, the temperatures tend to fall. Today we had an inversion, in which case, if you ascended, you found that it actually got warmer instead of cooler, and that moisture trapped under that inversion, leading to that low level deck of cloud cover. It took the better part of the day, actually all day, for the sun and the heating to help to work on that cloud cover, burn it off enough so that I was able to catch a view of the moon through increasing breaks in the cloud cover this evening. What probably will happen now, Joe, as we cool off tonight, the cloud cover will reform. It'll be a rather considerably cloudy night. And then tomorrow, with any luck, without much of an inversion, we should see all of that burn off slowly but surely to some sunshine tomorrow afternoon. And yeah, tomorrow and Friday here in the Hudson Valley, I've got temperatures in the mid to upper 70s, getting very close to 80, and probably will be near 80 in some of the urbanized locations like down in central and southern New Jersey and portions of eastern Pennsylvania tomorrow afternoon, again on Friday afternoon as well.
Yeah, I think places like in Northeast Virginia, Maryland, those places may wind up getting to some places I think could get to 83 or 84. Might even push 85 in one or two odd spots if there's enough sun. One of the things today, by the way, on the loop, you could see as the last visibles go by, that pesky low that formed over the weekend is there's still a little remnant of it sitting east of the North Carolina coast. It's just really very weak. You can see there's a little swirl there. That probably didn't help the cause today either, with regards to the weather conditions. But that's going to be gone certainly by tomorrow. There should be nothing left of it, and it'll just be more of a southwest wind. And I think that'll, like you said, it'll get rid of the inversion. You should be able to we should be able to see at least partly sunny skies. Meanwhile, Hurricane Pamela came inland along the Mexican coast on the Pacific side, and you can see all that moisture is streaming northeastward up into Texas, where we've got some action there. Our storm system in the northwestern plains. I woke up this morning and saw the first blizzard warnings of the season in parts of eastern Wyoming and eastern Montana. The remnants of those warnings, by the way, as we take a look, there's still some winter storm warnings up for eastern Montana and a few counties in northwestern South Dakota, southwestern North Dakota, and that's about it. This is at the point now with the cold air source here was not from the Arctic. It was basically all about the upper low, a very strong upper low that was able to cool the atmosphere from the top down. So as the system moves further north, and we talked about days ago, talking about how the flow in Canada is not coming anywhere from the northwest, so the air is all coming in from the southwest, even in Canada. So you don't have that. You don't have any kind of real Arctic connection here, but still cold enough that we got various frost advisories and freeze watches up for parts of Nebraska and into South Dakota. The story with Pamela is going to be some flash flooding. Flash flood watches up for a bunch of counties in Texas, from Del Rio down to San Antonio, northeastward through including Dallas, Fort Worth, and on up into eastern Oklahoma. Otherwise, there really isn't too much happening warning and watch-wise across the U.S. And checking out the radar, well, let me get to the radar and I'll give it a quick refresh here. Quick refresh. Cue the refresh. Refresh. Come on. It's just a radar loop. Okay. Couple of scattered showers there in eastern Maine, moving into New Brunswick. A couple of showers in northern Vermont, a few scattered in parts of upstate New York. Otherwise, the radar is quiet all the way down to the southwest coast of Florida. And we've got those showers and storms. And there's some hefty cells here and a few severe thunderstorm warnings that I've seen scattered around throughout the day. And that constitutes where SPC's got the marginal risk. But you can see all that moisture from Pamela is moving northeastward into Oklahoma and into northwestern Arkansas with a few embedded heavier thunderstorms. And meanwhile, if you go up in North Dakota, you can see the comma shape, the swirl, the counterclockwise rotation of this is all rain, by the way, that you see in North Dakota. It's snow back up in Montana on the radar and maybe a little bit there in western South Dakota, but the bulk of all this precip is rain. And then we got other patches of precip, be it rain and snow shower activity in western Montana, southeastern Idaho, northern Utah, and on up in the Pacific Northwest. We've got rain coming in. So not especially busy, not a lot of severe weather to worry about tonight. That's a plus. And the pattern is changing, I think, for next week and beyond. The way I looked at things today.
Well, absolutely. I got to chance before we went on the air to take a look at a couple of maps, and from what I could see, Joe, we've got not one, not two, but 3 days possibly here in the Hudson Valley in the 70s tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. Then we have a rather sharp cold front that looks like it's going to move on through here probably late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Behind that front, we got temperatures dropping at least 10 degrees into the mid 60s on Sunday. And I've got temperatures maybe not getting out of the 50s here when we get to Monday of next week. So
Yeah.
I hope all of you enjoy this stretch of, unseasonable warmth and the flirting with 80 these next few days for some, because it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a rather seasonably cool, let's put it that way, stretch of weather coming our way for Sunday and especially for the start of next week.
And for me too, because I've got a forecast low. Well, actually, the highs on Saturday are forecast to be up in the low and mid 60s after the cold front goes by, and forecast low Sunday morning of 40, a forecast high of Sunday of 63, and a forecast low Monday morning of 39.
Now, do you we were discussing this like a week or two ago. You're probably going to see a frost advisory posted to your area before I see my first frost advisory.
No, I've already beat you down to 40, so I would imagine I'll beat you down to the freezing mark before too long. Plus, up here, it could get to 38 or 37 at the airport. It might get down to, I don't know, who knows what it'll get to here, depending on. They're forecasting clear skies. It'll probably depend on how much wind there is, but I'm kind of looking forward to it. I got the AC in my house at 72. It actually had to come on a couple of times today, but I would like to put it to bed once and for all.
The temperatures Monday night for me, well, maybe I don't know. I'm saying on average for the Hudson Valley on Monday night 44, but up where I live and maybe some of those outlying spots north of let's say Interstate 84, maybe touching the upper 30s, but still not cold enough, I think, for a chance for any kind of frost advisory or freeze advisory going into effect. Still a bit on the mild side. And talk about mild temperatures, Joe. Tonight, I'm going for lows of 58 to 63. Consider this: the normal high temperature around this area for this time of the year is 63 degrees. So for places like Yonkers, for example, or Mount Vernon, those places may actually see something closer to the normal high as opposed to the normal low in the overnight hours tonight.
Yep. Marginal risk in that zone where we're seeing some showers and storms tonight on the radar in Texas and points northeastward on up. And they actually split the marginal risk area in half now. One for Texas, a gap in Oklahoma, and then another area in central Missouri, also up in what is that? Northwestern Minnesota, northwest central Minnesota, north central west Minnesota, southeastern North Dakota, northeastern South Dakota. No severe weather forecast for Thursday, Friday. Joe, they've got a marginal risk of severe weather for western PA, western New York, Ohio, Indiana, down into Kentucky and western Tennessee. Now, this is the front that's going to come through on Saturday. I was looking at the models. They actually, for the day 4 to 8 time frame, unless they changed it, when I looked at it earlier today for Saturday, SBC has potential too low, not probability too low, but predictability too low, but potential too low. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that they're probably right on this. The front is sharp. I don't know if it's going to be sharp enough to produce, thunderstorms at the criteria of severe. I suppose there's an outside chance that at the last minute they might go to a marginal risk for somebody. But for now, SBC doesn't seem to be too bullish on the idea of anything severe on Saturday.
They mentioned that the Cape values really were not, only like 200 or 300, and because that would be for late Saturday, early Sunday, and they're basing that for the reason why potential is too low at the moment. But you're right, because as we get closer and as things get a bit clearer, or at least the idea becomes a bit clear as to what is going to happen, it may very well be that they'll put the entire Northeast under at least a general thunderstorm coverage, and maybe right close to the front, maybe a marginal risk later on Saturday night or early Sunday morning. So we'll see, but yeah, there could be some rumbles of thunder out there midway through the weekend coming up.
By the way, let's get the tropics out of the way. Everything's quiet. There's one disturbance east of the Bahamas. They got a 10 and 10% chance in the next 5 days. And that's the 8 o'clock update, so we can get rid of that. Tropics seem to have shut down for the time being, even though there have been hints on various runs. One of the funny things, before I take a look at the teleconnections, I just wanted to bring it up because it happened again. I think it was the 0Z run last night had a huge wrapped up cutoff low in Maine. Okay, I mean a very deep cutoff low in Maine. I think the height at New York City. I believe the height in New York City was the height value was 534, okay, with a 510, a less than a 510 upper low in Maine or New Brunswick, wherever it was, okay, and a million of those height lines around it. If you looked at it, you would say, oh my God, you can probably be a really strong shot for this time of year, pretty strong shot of very chilly air coming in on the backside of whatever would be developing out to the northeast. The very next run on the 6Z had a ridge on the east coast with a 582 height value in New York City, which would put us back into where we are now. I mean, I just had to laugh because I guess my mind is just looking at this and saying, how can it be? The first one probably made more sense given what the teleconnections looked like in the long range than the second one. Not that it would be exactly correct, but the idea of troughing in the east, I just don't understand how a model goes from literally one extreme on one side to the other extreme on the other side in the span of 6 hours. I don't get it. I don't know why it does that.
Joe, well, I mean, it's like spinning the roulette wheel, and every once in a while the ball will land in the right spot. And
right,
there you go.
Get $1,000 in a bonus spin. Get
exactly.
$1.
Exactly. Precisely, Robin.
Precisely.
Yes. So there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I think we have a relatively quiet period. I'm going to try and see if Bill Goodman can come on. I saw he was posting, various parameters for the upcoming winter season, including snow in Asia and the far north. And he said, I'll have more stuff coming in the days to come in terms of his analysis or whatever. So maybe it might be time to get Mr. Bill on, and
I'll dig him up and and get him on there. So the North Atlantic Oscillation, based on the ensembles from overnight. This, for those of you who are new, we look at basically these teleconnections tell us about pressure changes over broad geographic areas, the NAO, the North Atlantic oscillation. And when the oscillation is negative, it usually means higher pressures up in the Arctic regions or the northern regions and lower pressures at the mid latitudes where we are, which would favor a cooler than normal pattern overall. Doesn't tell you anything necessarily specific, but the fact that the NAO is negative and actually stays pretty much negative, although there are a few members that get close to the neutral line by the time we get to the end of the month. But it's been fairly consistent here with staying negative right through. It would make the whole month of October that we would have seen this negative. The other teleconnection that we like to look at, of course, is the Pacific North America Index. And it's negative now, which means that we have a ridge in the eastern part of the United States that's kind of working against that NAO, which would try to make a trough. And at the moment, the Pacific North America Index has the upper hand, but it won't for much longer because that goes neutral in a few days and then goes actually on most of the members about at least one standard deviation above the mean, and on a couple of members pushing it up to 1.5 to almost 2 standard deviations above the mean. So that would suggest ridging in the west and troughing in the east. So it would also, by the way, suggest that the upper flow, is going to be coming down from Canada. So that will support the notion that we will get into a cooler pattern and maybe a few stretches in that mix where the temperatures will actually wind up being cooler than average for a change.
I said to my wife, I said, it's a pity that we're taking the pool down on Friday for good. I mean, it's lasted for 20 summers. And it's a pity that we're taking it down because it's going to be so warm these next couple of days. I said, don't you want to take one last dip in the pool? But it's going. In fact, if you allow me to share the screen.
Sure, without a heater, the long nights kill you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true as well. Very quickly, it'll cool off. But I want to show you.
Go ahead,
and everybody.
It's all yours.
What I'm planning to do tomorrow. Again, the guys from the local local Essential Builders extravaganza. These guys will be coming and taking the pool apart tomorrow and probably on Saturday. But there's still some water left in the pool, Joe. I mean, I'd say about 80% of the water is out, but there's still some water left in. So tomorrow, here's what I'm planning to do. Now, can all of you see that? Can you see that, Joe? Yeah. Yes. Now, this is an above ground pool, and there are these panels all the way around the pool. You see this one over here is already beginning to give way a little bit as well. This panel has been going for the last 3 years. Every year we've always said, we're going to wake up one night, we're going to hear a kaboom, and all the water is going to come flooding out, breaking through it. It has not done that. It has not done that.
By the way, hold on a second. Hold on. Hang on.
Let's trip the needle.
All right. Let's see if this fixed it. Oh, there we are. I see us there. Okay, we came up on the screen. Okay, I guess we're back. All right, folks. The broadcast software. This has never happened actually. The broadcast software that I use froze, so I didn't know what to do because I didn't know whether if I shut the darn thing off, it would end the show or it won't end the show. But it seems like it's fixed. Okay, so you want to show them your pool again, Joe? They didn't hear it the first time, so.
All right. Is this on the screen now? Can you see this? There it is. The panel that you see there has been warping, cracking, and slowly breaking for the last 3 years, for the last 3 summers. And you can see now it has gotten to the point where you can actually see the pool liner. And tomorrow, since there's only about, I'd say the pool is only about 20% at most, 20% filled now. We've managed to get most of the water out, and it is going to be taken down on Friday. What I'm planning to do is I told Renata, either I'm going to take an axe and put a hole in that pool cover and let the remaining water come pouring out, or maybe the liner.
I have an idea to get the last foot out.
Yeah, what's the idea?
We shouldn't have gone up and over. We should have gone through the inlet hole.
The inlet hole?
To take the water out.
Well, whatever. One way or another, the water's coming out tomorrow, and if I have to put a hole or just break that panel completely and get all the water to come flowing out.
Does that on the side of the pool? Does it? You remember the cake? Remember the cake in the Little Rascals where it would go ree wow ree ree wow? Does it do that? I mean, I'm just kind of wondering.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't?
It does not. No. Anyway.
All right. Well.
Anyway. So.
Okay.
Wish me luck tomorrow. And if by any chance the water comes pouring out to such a point where it just hits me, knocks me down, and I go flowing down the hill, it's been nice knowing all of you.
Yeah. Well, no flowing down the hill. Okay, let's go to the upper air. Let's take a look at what's happening here because as we played out with those darn teleconnections, as we showed you, and at least the last couple of runs of the GFS look a little bit more consistent. By the way, the Europeans got a similar idea here. So as we move forward, you see our ridge here in the east. This is Thursday night. You have a deep upper low east of Newfoundland. You've got higher than normal pressures all up in Greenland. Back all the way to Scandinavia, by the way, into eastern Canada. And now your trough in the west is coming in. There's another trough that's moving into Alaska right behind it. And the difference is this time, instead of that Alaskan trough moving southeastward into the western part of the United States, it actually drops southward, right along 140 degrees west. That allows this ridge to pop up. And now suddenly we've got a nice flow coming down out of Canada for Saturday's weather system, which is our cold front that moves on through. Here's a bit of a blocking high up in well up in the northern Labrador and over the Davis Strait. So this changes things. And in fact, as we move forward on the GFS, find it very interesting, Joe. We've dropped a cutoff down between 140 and 160 degrees west. And suddenly we've got a nice ridge up in northwestern Canada that's built. This is for a week from today, so it's not that far out into the long range. So you got this nice flow coming out of Canada, a bit of a split, low pressure sitting over Newfoundland, a blocking high over Greenland. This would be something that in January would be a lot of fun. Anyhow, moving forward, the block kind of holds, and you see all this troughing now in the eastern part of the United States as we go to, late next week and beyond. Very interesting upper air setup that the models are indicating. And after that pulls out, there's actually another one that comes in as the Pacific. The Pacific actually doesn't look too shabby going into the end of October and the beginning of November. It's certainly a much cooler, in some cases, a much colder look.
Yes, indeed. Well, we said that this was going to happen. We said that the upper air was going to kind of reverse, or we would see the mirror image of what we're seeing now in about a week or so, relative to troughs and ridges, and that looks like it's going to be the case. That's exactly what's going to transpire. We'll see the ridge build over in the west, and we'll be stuck with the trough here in the east, and maybe some cooler weather.
All right, so just running through this in terms of the surface, no issues. There's your rain in Texas with what's left of Pamela it really is more about the cold front than anything else because you don't really see any kind of leftover identifiable feature with it. And then most of the moisture just disappears as we move into Friday. That front pushes to the east coast on Saturday. Another low forms down in Missouri and heads up into the eastern lakes and then moves up into eastern Canada. There's your cold front. I'm thinking, Joe, that actually Saturday, much of the day might be okay, that these showers and storms may not come in until the evening time, say between 6 p.m. and midnight. And then they move along. And then it's all about cool northwest flow, high pressure in the east till the middle of next week. And here comes another cold front that comes down toward the end of next week with a chilly high. They are sitting north of Minnesota. And then we'll see what happens. Some kind of low in the Caribbean with a developing wave. Pulling rain up the coast with all that troughing in the eastern part of the United States, it would not be unreasonable to think that we could wind up with some kind of system in the eastern U.S. Not obviously not this weekend, but next weekend perhaps.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the longer range models, and that seems to be the case for again not this weekend, but next weekend. By the way, on Sunday, because of that flow of northwest winds and a bit of cool, unstable air, that invasion. I mentioned the possibility, small as it may be, for maybe a spritz or a shower or sprinkle on Sunday for parts of our area. I mean, not a totally dry day, but and the breeze, it does not look like will really kick in until Monday or Tuesday. Monday or Tuesday of next week looks, we'll have breezes of 10, 15, 20 miles an hour from the northwest, that cool airflow. And with time, more and more in the way of sun and fewer and fewer clouds. So let's say Sunday might be a day of sun and clouds and maybe going back to clouds and maybe a sprinkle or spritz. And then on Monday, sunny to partly cloudy. And maybe by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, we'll go for, mainly sunny conditions around our area.
I'm okay with that. That sounds good to me. So let's do a Barry Goldberg hitting super chat. Thanks, Barry says, thanks for not going on storm watch this Monday when he measured 0.04 inches of flooding drizzle. Barry was saying how one of the local stations was doing a storm watch thing with Monday's drizzle. Just
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous now. Really, it's so out of control.
I remember a long time ago on Pix 11 when Bob Harris, the former Dr. Bob, was doing the weather for them, and they had a real funny guy doing sports. His name was Jerry Gerard, and they used to play off each other, Bob Harris and Jerry Gerard. And one night, Jerry Gerard said, "All right, that's it in sports, and right now Bob is going to tell us about this killer drizzle that's heading this way." Killer drizzle.
Once upon a time, we had to beg for time when there was an actual storm around. Now of course, any drop of rain or flake of snow, and it's wall-to-wall team coverage.
Yeah. So
and you just want to tell them, just leave me alone.
One of the things that I did not get along too well with the assistant news director at my former place of employment, News 12. He and I never really got along too well from day one. But they refurbished, they redid the weather center, Joe, and right behind me, they drilled this into the wall in metal or steel letters, Storm Watch. And when they did that, I come in, I say, "What the hell is this all about?" He said, that's going to be your new background. I said, if that wasn't the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life, I said, 80% of the time we have nothing. We have sunshine, we have dry. And meanwhile, I've got storm watch behind me. I said, how does that make any sense? That's so stupid. And of course, the last thing that you want to do is tell your supervisor he is stupid. But I did. And let's put it this way. We toward the end, we didn't say very much to each other. But that's one of the silly things that these corporate people, the suits, they come up, "Hey, that would be a great idea. Let's put Stormwatch for that." Makes no sense.
Yeah, let's not say we did.
Yes.
It would be my response. All right, let's do a little bit of Briller Jeopardy as with theme changes from hurricanes to wintertime, Mr. Rayo. So you have 7 days with it to get credit for this. I will name the city, and you will give me the date within 7 days of the first measurable snowfall accumulation, beginning with New York City, New York City's famed Central Park.
Now, you have to clarify, is this the earliest that snow has ever?
No, it's the average. The average.
Oh, the
first date. The average date of the first measurable accumulation of snow.
All right, at Central Park, I'll say December 5th.
Off by 9 days, Mr. Rayo. December 14th.
Really? Is it really that late?
That's what it says. That's what it says on the page right there. It says December 14th.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Philadelphia.
Well, if December 14th is the date for New York, Philadelphia must be a bit later. I'll say December 21st.
That is within 7 days, December 17th for the city of brotherly love. Caribou, Maine.
Oh God, Caribou, Maine. Why don't we go with a month before Central Park? Why don't we say for Caribou, I'll say November. All right, maybe not November 14th. How about November 21st?
October 23rd for Caribou, Maine.
Are you kidding me? October 23rd.
For Caribou, Maine. That's Caribou, Maine, Joe.
But even that far north, October 20, that means they should be expecting their first measurable snow anytime now, right?
Well, you know what? Once the pattern flips this weekend and goes to the new pattern, they probably will see it before October 23rd. How about Buffalo?
Buffalo. How about for Buffalo, November 15th?
Buffalo is November the 5th.
I'm missing it by like 10 days on some of these.
Yes, Buffalo. Suddenly reminded me of the Warner Brothers Hansel and Gretel cartoon. When you were saying Buffalo, Hansel,
Yeah.
Hansel,
Well,
Hansel. Albany.
That's probably, by the way, where David Letterman got into trouble that time. Remember at one of the Oscars, he kept introducing Oma, Uma,
Right.
Oprah. So what is it?
Albany, New York.
Albany.
Yeah.
Albany, New York. So okay. Well, what did we say for Buffalo? Buffalo's November 5th?
November 5th.
Buffalo's November 5th. How about for Albany, I'll say November 25th.
November 16th.
Getting close.
Still off by 11.
Or as Bullwinkle will say, Presto!
Right.
Well, I'm getting close.
Yes. Boston.
Boston. All right. Well, we have Boston. And in Boston, I'm going to say December 2nd.
November 29th.
All right. Well,
and
we're circling.
Last but not least, Atlantic City.
Frantic City?
Frantic City.
How about December 21st?
Now, you know what? After all the huge misses you got, you actually hit that one on the nose.
Right on the nose.
You got that on the nose. December 21st. Yeah, it's not ringing. It doesn't ring?
Oh, I see. I'm putting it up to the camera. I'm not putting the microphone.
No,
you heard that, I hope.
That I heard, yes. All right. So my grand apologies, everybody, for that horrible technical mess that occurred. But that was it was nothing I did. It just, my software froze up. So I guess I know now that if the software freezes, I can turn the software off and then turn it back on again, which is a plus.
We shall see. Speaking of mess, we'll see what happens tomorrow with the pool.
Okay.
So we'll have part two. We'll have part two tomorrow.
Any parting thoughts?
No parting thoughts. I will be back.
No, it's working now. I got the hose too. By tomorrow morning.
You always have to do this to me, don't you? You were out there by yourself with the tube, sucking on the tube or whatever.
It's not a big deal. Not a big deal.
Nothing's a big deal for you. Anybody out there, if you want
Oh,
me to
just
rent
give
my
the woman
wife out,
give the woman the chainsaw. Just have her cut the whole darn thing up.
get the chainsaw. That would have been fun. That actually would have been fun.
Well, as long as you're somewhere on the other side of the town while she's doing it.
Yes, exactly.
Excuse
me?
She won't.
What did you buy a saw and cut the damn thing up ourselves?
Oh well.
Why don't we?
Oh yeah, this is a joke.
We ought to mic her
she
up.
wanted to actually. You know what happened? She actually wanted the two of us, two elderly people in their 60s.
Oh, you're playing now you're playing the Medicare card. Go on.
She actually believed that the two of us could take this 16 or 18 by 34 foot pool. Did you hear that? We're not elderly.
I heard it.
When
If
I'm
she's
80 years old, she'll still
she-
be having me do stuff like
if
this.
she can get a senior citizens discount, she's elderly.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I always
Correct.
forget to ask for them. Not that I.
Well, I actually we got oil last week. It was $2.79. However, because of our ages, because we're considered to be senior citizens, 2 cents off. And it
Oh
was
well,
$2.77.
glory, hallelujah.
Yeah.
OPEC,
Exactly.
OPEC will not. I'm sure OPEC will not miss that 2 cents.
I saved almost $3 on my oil last week. So.
Oh, very good. Well, I got my electric bill was my electric bill for September was
Yes.
$60.53, and I got my propane bill because I have a propane tank and because I have a dual heating system. So it's electric until the temperature goes below 40, and then the propane kicks on. My propane bill was to fill the tank up $137.42.
Okay. Our dishwasher, our dryer. We have a washer dryer. In fact, getting a new one next week. The dryer worked when we moved in on propane, but we cut that off after a few years.
Billy the
kid asked a good question. What is gas cost down there?
Gasoline?
What do you get for a gallon of regular? A gallon of regular.
I paid yesterday. I paid $2.95 for a gallon, and then I got 5% off on that. So I paid. So subtract 15 cents. So $2.80, and when I do my food shopping at the local supermarket, if I go on Tuesdays, I get triple points. So if I spend $100, I get 300 points, and with 300 points, I get 20 cents a gallon off on the gasoline. So if I had done it that way, I would have paid, I think, $2.77 for a gallon of gas. But if I didn't do it with the discounts, if it's just a straight, just drive the car and get a gas station, just get gas. Right now, most stations around here are between $2.95 to $3 a gallon in that range.
Okay. Well, we're not too much higher than that. I mean, at the local Getty station here, it's now up to $3.15 per gallon regular.
Yeah.
I mean, the longest time was like $3.05. So
yeah, I think a week ago I paid because I had 20 cents off, so I paid $2.67, I think, for a gallon, which wasn't too bad. Izzy D hitting super chat, and Izzy, I think it does automatically renew. I don't know if you went to the yearly subscription on my weather platform, which is patreon.com/meteorologist Joe Chaffee for extra weather coverage. It should automatically do it, but if just give it a double check. Whether you get the yearly subscription, which is 15% off, or you just pay by the month, which starts at $2 a month, it should automatically renew. So, and thanks for the super chat hit. And thanks tonight to all the super chat hits that we had. Paul Roman, Barry Goldberg, and Izzy D twice. Let me make sure I got everybody. I lost some of the chat when when my software went down. But I think I got everybody. I hope so. If I missed you the second time around, my apologies. I don't know if you can see it. Did I get everybody?
I think so. I think you did.
Okay, that's good. All right, so back tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern time to get the saga of the pool, and we'll see everybody then. Nighty night.
Nighty night.